Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Pep Talk Pod. How are you guys doing? How are you doing, sisters?
Feeling
Hello, hello,
good.
hello. How are you?
Are you ready for some football?
Well, I mean, it's been a great weekend for your girl. The announcement came yesterday, before we start the show, that Mr. One Kendrick Boogeyman, as my friend calls him, Damar.
And
Damar.
that is my modern day best rapper of the year.
Absolutely. Hands down.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Will be the Super Bowl 59 halftime performer in one what is it now called? The Caesars Superdome? Child, they shouldn't have never
Caesar
changed the name.
I don't know.
It's the Caesar
They
Superdome
messed
in New
up their name.
Orleans.
Then it changed names about 15 times.
Child, we just call it the Superdome. The amount of people who have been calling me about some tickets, as if I have a ticket tree outside my house.
Crazy.
I do not.
No, so they have to go to the website.
Go to
NFL.com.
the website. It's crazy. Like she gotta go to my link. Follow my hyperlink.
All right, so let's talk NFL season. We are back. Football is officially back. We got NFL and college football. So your Saturday, your Sunday, your Monday, your Thursday. Oh Lord, every night.
And Fridays.
And
Some
Friday.
NFL's on Friday now.
We just had a Friday game in Brazil,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yep.
Brazil.
First game of the season, a rematch of the the AFC Championship last season, the Ravens versus the Chiefs, and by a toe is what we're saying. It was by a toe. The Ravens comeback fell short. So Tracy, you were about to say something about the toe tap by a toe at the end of that game.
Yeah, I was. It wasn't gonna be nice. I was just still so frustrated about why would they even make that particular call, right?
Mhm.
So he makes the touchdown according first. That's what they call is the touchdown, and then we go back and review. And from my understanding, it was gonna be one of those undecided reviews. Like it was already called a touchdown. It should have just been left a touchdown. But then you make that decision. Like you make that decision and you was not even clear. No one was 100% sure what, how that should have went. So you should have left it alone. But it was like, man, they give that dude so many opportunities. They open the door for people like me really not like him.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree with you on that part, Tracy. I think it's almost like CC in basketball. You make it so tough to truly appreciate their talent because
In the game.
it's too much. It's overdone. Like that call there was egregious.
I was gonna say, did y'all know that he was on somebody's podcast yesterday and made a statement that next time whoever the guy who the wide receiver maybe need to think about wearing some white cleats.
What?
Who said that?
You talking about Kermit?
Kermit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now a comment
Yeah.
on how a million ways to cheat.
Right. Say that again
Yeah,
for the people
Kermit.
in the back, Sean. Say it again.
Now reporting on a million ways to cheat.
Right.
Crazy.
now
Yeah.
speaking of calls, we saw something really crazy in that game. Ravens left tackle Ronnie Stanley was called for 5 illegal formation penalties in that game. The teams we tried to figure out like what it was that he was being called for. The teams were notified before the season that the illegal formation would be a point of emphasis this season. And the rule is that the lineman's helmet must be even with the center's waist. That's the rule. Now, I looked at the numbers just kind of see like how they were enforcing it across the league, and only one other team was called more than once, and that was Cleveland, and they only got 2. Ronnie Stanley got 5 by himself.
All by itself.
it kind of, I mean, he did say that he felt like the refs were trying to make an example out of him. What do y'all think?
I agree 1000%. It was another one of those things like that was is absolutely absurd. Like, at what point are you just gonna let them play? And while you just focusing on him, it was like that's how I felt. I know that's how the player felt. Like, wow, you just focusing, you like your whole focus is on me the entire game, bro. It was like overwhelmed. I'm telling y'all, I stopped watching the game. I stopped watching the game. Yeah,
I did.
I have to agree. I think it was like a target on his back, but that's just how I feel. Maybe because I don't like Kermit's team and Kermit. So since because it seems like anybody that plays him, I don't care who it is. I love Andy Reid. I just think he just got some bad, he don't have the right people on his team. They just gonna make it happen
leaders,
for him. Yeah, that's gonna make it happen for him. But yeah, I feel like, Ryan, and he just had a target on his back and they was just picking with him because I feel like that came from last season when what's the fella name? What's his name? The wide receiver?
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. Because everybody was like, well, the ref will tell you to get back in play. He'll tell you. But so now this baby ain't even on nobody practice for it. He ain't even been, he been thought about. But So since he got 2 calls, oh, we got to get rid of him. No, So we're going to clean up so that we can kind of look like we the good team so that everybody else can get picked on. I don't know. That's just my thought, though.
Interesting theory. That was I think it said the ratings were up a lot for the season opener this season. I think it was up a lot, 5% or something, which is pretty good. But that was not the only game we saw last week before Sunday. We also had our first Friday game in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love sprained an MCL. 5 seconds left in the game. What did you guys think about that game? How do we think that the Eagles looked in that game? I know a couple of you guys cheer for the Eagles, so just want to get your early thoughts on what we saw from them.
They need to tighten up because they barely won.
I would say, I felt like they had the first game jitters kind of thing going on. And I think that they'll work some of those kinks out, but it started to feel like they were shooting their own self in the foot a little bit. And I was just like, it was reminiscent of the Alabama game a little bit. And then it was just kind of like, okay, let's not ever do that again. But I would agree with Missy.
Well, Giants fans were kicking themselves in the foot because Saquon Barkley had a game. And honestly, without Saquon in that running game, I think the Eagles would have lost.
Most definitely. I have to agree.
Concur.
I don't know. I think I'm trying to think with their wide receivers. I mean, Saquon was a huge pickup for them. I think I saw Devontae catch maybe 2 or 3 balls. I don't know. I think they still got some things to work out on offense. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think their offense looked pretty decent. I think their defense was the one that was struggling with to me. Like they defense, they're gonna have to tighten up. It was like at one point they was getting trampled over and they couldn't do anything. The defense is struggling. So to me, I think they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board with the defense.
Move down to the A with we saw the Falcons with new quarterback Kirk Cousins take on the Steelers, who were supposed to have Russell Wilson, but he ended up not playing. They suited up Justin Fields, and Chris Boswell scored all the points for the Steelers. Knocked through 6 field goals.
They got kicked out of the game.
Child.
Let me tell you, it was funny. Sitting there watching that game, and I said, Daphne, I hate to say this, but the Falcons going to get field goal out this game. after, especially after the second field goal. She said, "No, they ain't, Mom." Yes, they are. Because for one thing, Justin Fields, he did okay, but it was so sad that him and Kirk Cousins' numbers were so freaking close that you cannot believe the fact that both of y'all starting freaking quarterbacks with them horrible numbers. Both of them. 2 interceptions.
But one of them is a granddaddy, and the other one is just an uncle. So, you know,
And I want
granddaddy
to say,
is supposed to have a bad game.
yeah,
Granddad wasn't supposed to be playing, don't need to be playing. After the first half, I would have thought that Morris would have said, okay, let's change this trajectory and let's put in Penny. Just try him out. Just give him a couple of reps and see how it works. You kept that old man in that game, and he let the Pittsburgh Steelers kick us out of Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's exactly what happened.
Well, as an old person once told me, that's what you get for thinking.
They don't pay you to think. My mama said they don't pay you to think.
And especially to think as a Falcons fan, because at this point you should be accustomed to the idiocracy within that organization. I feel like we'd already talked about this ahead of the season, and just the idea that Falcons fans have any glimmer of hope is insane to me. I live in this city and I see the dedication to this team. It is astounding. I don't understand it. I truthfully cannot. To me, it is about as dizzy as being an Auburn fan right now. It makes no sense. I don't see this. I don't see it's not adding up. Like, find something else to stress yourself out with. Let's do something else.
And you were so right, Sean, because they had a sellout crowd because they come in to actually see a new Falcons. I don't think it's gonna be another sellout crowd because you're still living under the same old Falcons rule under Arthur Blank, and that's my take on that one. I'm sorry.
I mean, it was interesting because the commentators were like, you know, the Falcons went all in on Kirk Cousins because they trying to win now, and I'm just like, with Kirk Cousins,
not happening. Like
the man that didn't play the season before because he was injured before he came over to the Falcons, and then he was injured a couple of games before that season. So what was I don't get it. I don't get it.
I hear what you guys are saying, but they didn't score at all second half, right? So not only I understand what you're saying about Kirk Cousins, but at some point the offensive coordinator has to get a blame here because you did not score. Now you did not drive the ball into the red zone not one time second half. How you gonna blame? I put that all on Kirk. I don't know.
You got a point.
Again,
you got a point.
Again, we key on the wrong thing sometimes. I think like Kirk is horrible, and we know that.
That's right.
I'm not gonna say this old guy's horrible. Take that back. He's not horrible. He's just wishy-washy. Some days he be on fire, and then the next game we'll see him, and he'll be like, "What happened, Kirk? You like Thursday night. You was on fire. It's just Sunday. Like you know, it's kind of like that." But
just like a grandpa.
For the coordinator to look at this game the entire second half and not even get 3 points, do not even put your team in a position where the kicker can kick a field goal. It is something that needs to go back to the drawing board, and I don't think that we need to be screaming so bad at Kirk.
No, I'm just as confused as TYREEK Hill was on that pavement the other day. Speaking of, sorry, wait, too early, too soon?
No, perfect timing.
TYREEK Hill says he is still trying to process what happened, getting arrested 3 hours before the game. One of the officers has been placed on administrative leave.
With pay.
With pay, that is correct. This is how he celebrated his 68-yard touchdown during the game. That was That was something.
I'm putting
Shade.
you on the rest.
So much shade.
I mean, honestly, some fans were able to capture some video of the arrest. So
Several
the
fans.
police, correct. The police are say that they are going to release the body cam footage. So apparently the police said that he was pulled over because he was driving erratic. They pulled him over. And then they say that he was being uncooperative, that then they had to detain him. Then when his teammates came over, Calais Campbell and who else was the other one that came over to help, then they were detained as well. He's like, I don't know what happened with this. I mean, they literally got his face like smushed in the ground. So kind of crazy what happened. Yeah. An investigation is happening, but he still managed to get in there and score a touchdown yesterday.
Go back to that video. Did I see what I think I see? Go back to the video. Go back when they standing on the sidewalk. Did I see a cop kick him? Look at that video right there.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see what I just seen?
Looks like he kicked his knees out.
But he already in handcuffs.
Yeah,
so why
you know how when you're trying to get somebody to like go down, and if it looks like they like kicked him in the back of his knees, so his knees would buckle, so he would go down.
But he's already in handcuffs. He's in handcuffs right there. So when he's walking, he's in handcuffs. So why did you have to kick him?
Ooh, come on, Crystal. They ain't ready.
That's gonna be the part. But we got to think about what state we in. We got to think about what governor we got running the state as well.
We ain't talking about.
We ain't gonna go there. But they have been, that county have been under so much investigation due to their policing.
That's true.
That the damn governor, he been trying to cover up and say don't release no videos. He don't want to, it's gonna be by the end of this football season before they release the officer video of this situation.
Your parents be listening to this podcast, just FYI. Your parents do.
Because she said DAM, like Daddy say. She said DAM. Not the end.
Not the end.
Oh, well, my parents, they know me. They made me. They ought to know. But yeah, I just seen that video. That was the first video that I just seen. In that capacity. Now I did see other videos with one driver pulled over. Right. When they had him on the ground, on the face, and they had one officer, he approached him as if he was trying to rush the man, and he already laying down.
I think that he probably would have. I think that all of those officers was just so upset that he was a Black man driving such a nice vehicle, he was already driving fast, and how dare you have this type of money in my city? You got to be illegal. And immediately it went from, because how can you detain me to undetain me with a traffic violation? No, sir. You would not give me a ticket. You're playing in my face, and all of y'all can go straight to Hades at this point. And it's like,
I want the people coming in from, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I kind of like feel so sorry for our Black and brown brothers in this day and age, because if it wasn't him, it could have been anyone. It could have been, what if he was a mortgage broker who earned his money? I'm just giving out scenario. You know, what if he wasn't the NFL football player and he was driving that car? Just because I'm driving this particular vehicle and I got this chain around my neck, you're gonna automatically stereotype me and detain me like I am a criminal without running any type of information? You had to run that tag, because I can know for a fact when you get stopped, they don't have to ask you for insurance. They just do it because they not already ran your tag and it has all that information on it. So at what point are we going to start? It's just being fair, And I hate that for him, and he would never forget it. I don't care how much he say, I want to be a police officer one day. You know,
yeah.
I don't care how much you would never ever be one of them in their eyes.
No.
Ever.
Now, I just would like to add just a one little nugget. So being former law enforcement here on this panel, the first thing is that it was not that they thought he didn't deserve to drive that car. They were very well aware that that was TYREEK Hill in that car. There's not a person in my county or surrounding counties that were wealthy and we didn't know their exotic cars. They saw him, they knew exactly who he was. There was no uncertainty about it. What happened is they got on that radio and whomever their senior officer was or the supervisor on that shift told them that they better take them handcuffs off and let that man go right now, or you will not have a job when you get yourself back to this precinct. And that is exactly what happened. And we'll never hear why specifically he was released from being detained. But I will be the first to tell you, there's nobody living in Miami driving that car in his little town, whatever city that was technically, that they didn't know. Yeah, Miami-Dade, that they didn't know who car that was and who it belonged to. They knew. Okay, that's very clear. Somebody superior told them. I done seen it happen a million times over. Told them, you better take them handcuffs off him right now, or you won't have a job when you get home. And so this little fluff about sending him home on administrative leave pending the investigation, before this ever came out in the media, the superior already knew that they had screwed up.
Little break. We are trying to reach 200 subscribers on YouTube. I know, what a segue. So make sure you go and like the Pep Talk Pod on YouTube, on all the things, on TikTok or TikTok. Follow us on Facebook, leave a comment, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And now we will transition over to college football. Oh my gosh, week 2. Craziness. Jesus. Take it away, sis.
Girl, no, I gotta get some Excedrin if I'm finna talk about Alabama. Golly, they gave me a headache. I had to check my pressure. I didn't know what was going on.
A migraine.
Yes, they gave me a full-blown migraine. Because that game right there, Alabama was getting on my nerves. Now, don't get me wrong, because they played some sloppy ball. Real sloppy. But South Florida gave that game to Alabama. Totally. That's what I say. And, you know, even though my sister's, I'm an Alabama fan, but South Florida gave that game to Alabama.
You sticking to it.
Fourth and goal, and you don't go for it? Make sense.
Well, 4th and goal, you don't go for it because you don't have the offense to get through the defense to get you into the red zone.
They was running
over them. Not quite.
Okay.
They
go back to drinking my cranberry.
So even if you will, so I will entertain this for a quick second. Even if they do go for it on 4th and 3rd, you saw the camera never pan to that section again for the honoree of the night, having the field named after him. And so what happened was he decided that he was fed up. He got in the booth, got him a headset, and miraculously the offense turned into a whole nother team. There was something there. I ain't even gonna say it was a switch that turned on. Somebody said, "Hold my liquor," and said, "That's okay, I got this." Because see, what I cannot let you do is tarnish my name and this amazing night, right? This stadium is being named after me. Surely you will not go down to unranked South Florida on my watch, on my time, on my night. And so, you know, the GOAT got in the booth and we saw Alabama show up again. What happened?
I mean, they definitely had some offensive line struggles. They weren't able to sustain drives. That was really one of the main issues. I don't feel like South Florida's offense was running all over them. I just think Alabama was not able to score for some odd reason. Yeah, that offensive line, they just weren't able to keep it together. Yeah. And then
Trump need to go back from where he's from.
Don't show up next week.
Girl, it was
don't even put your uniform on.
Some of those holding penalties that he received, that was warranted. It was like we always say, "They cheating." They didn't cheat. He holding them. I'm like, dude, why? Miro is 10 yards in front of you. Why are you even hold? This big lineman can't go catch him. What are you doing? It was like, oh
what
my
he
God.
was doing.
It wasn't even like little drill. It was like this, going across the
yeah.
Sir.
He got on my nerve. You
And it
got
was like
on my nerves.
one of those bad kids with caps in their mouth, like you done told them 20 times, like you already know they watching you. So after the first time, okay, second, the fourth and fifth time is insane because you know they watching you and you know what you're doing. Like, can we cut it
Yeah.
out? They pull him out of the
So
game. And
they
I
sure
mean,
did.
that offense clicked like
Literally.
that's
Literally,
crazy.
yeah. And number 57
42-16.
was on the injury list and came in and was playing like he was not even injured.
Yep. Yep.
I was like,
Well,
is he really injured? Or is this other team like, I'm scared of him? We weren't scared of Frumbry, but we scared of him.
But the way Notre Dame lost and Northern Illinois won, and he was just so cool. He was just so emotional.
Oh, the coach.
it was sweet.
I felt
Yes.
bad for Michigan's coach and happy for him because, like, it was a big moment for him as a new coach. Like, wow, you beat
Northern
powerhouse.
Illinois.
Yeah. And this goes back to when we talked about Michigan hiring that coach last year. What did we say?
Northern
They hired him.
Illinois.
He ain't on contract. He ain't on contract, but go ahead.
I know he's not, but what were we saying?
I already knew he was gonna get the bad end of the stick. It was gonna be I would have denied it. No, just let me stay the coordinator and y'all go and find someone else.
Michigan.
Wait, are we talking about Michigan or Notre Dame? Because y'all just switched schools on me. Y'all talking about Michigan.
I'm
We were
sorry.
talking about
I'm
Notre
sorry.
Dame.
Yes,
I know we done moved on. I'm sorry.
Sean
moved
mentioned
on.
Michigan.
Yeah,
They
we
moved
moved
on
on.
from Illinois.
I mean, it's not much to talk about. They
lost.
lost. Notre Dame didn't have no business ranked up there anyway. I thought we were done with it. They lost just like Auburn. On to the next.
Oh,
And
so
that
we
man
did
from
Notre Dame.
Northern Illinois said, "Give me my money," because they got paid. That school got paid some money.
My money. They said, how
They
you
come
pay
and whoop you
somebody
on your
one-
own turf.
They paid them 1.4 million. It's like when you pay somebody to whoop them, you got to be like Alabama, A&M, and Auburn. Beat the team. You got to be a contender that you're gonna beat. A&M just go to Auburn to get their money, okay? And that that's my alma mater. I love my Bulldogs. I'm gonna rock with them, but give me my money, okay? That's what they need. So let's not put anyone else on our schedule that we're not guaranteed to beat when we pay it, okay?
I want my money. Yay!
Awesome.
That was some breaking news. Sorry. Let me just take that down. Deshaun Watson, that just came in. Deshaun Watson, civil lawsuit filed in Houston today. This is from ESPN, accusing him of sexual assault and battery in October 2020 when he was a member of the Texans. So it does not appear that the legal woes of one Deshaun Watson are over. Don't know what to say about that.
Lord have mercy.
That into the season. Sean, take it away.
Yeah, so my little sis, Angel Reese is out on a season-ending phantom wrist injury, and I love her. I do love Angel, and I know she was, rolling the wrist around and giving us a little bit of the optics for her. But am I convinced that this is actually a thing? I am absolutely not, and I hate to be that person, right? To like question your injury, but this it was almost like let's wrap it up, to me. And so I just have a hard time, and I everybody knows I love Angel. Like I will fight the 5,000 over injuries. But I just feel like this was a ghost injury. I mean, nobody can really root it back to anything. I've watched the clip, I've rewatched the game on my league pass, and I just can't find when and where it happened. So I say phantom because I don't know the source or the root of it.
I think she is realizing that the Sky are probably not going to the playoffs, and if they do go, they ain't gonna do nothing. So let me just go ahead and get my rest. That's what I feel like happened.
And regroup, because you got to remember she's been playing almost a full straight year. Like these college players, they came from college ball straight into the W.
Right,
so that is taxing. So maybe she is giving herself an opportunity to recover and be ready for January, and that I can respect. Not January. Shoot, when they play the next season. I just don't have. I didn't see any footage of when this injury happened. And
maybe
I
almost practice. This is me giving people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was at practice.
I mean, it could have been. It could have been.
But it
at
was at
home.
practice. I thought the injury was at practice. She said she rolled on it on her
Right.
wrist at practice.
Oh, well, I
There
missed
you
that.
go.
I missed that headline because I did see her doing the roly in the game a few times. And so it obviously was bothering her. But I've seen her play through so many injuries throughout the years that to me just didn't seem like, you know what I'm saying? It didn't seem like it was. I mean, as painful as it was, I've seen her have worse games than she did with the wrist injury. So
Well, WNBA playoffs right around the corner, so it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out. I honestly at this point don't even know who I would pick to win. Who
I
would
said
you
the
pick to
same
win?
thing. I don't know.
yeah, both my teams, the
Maybe
Dream
the
and
Liberty.
The Liberty.
One thing about the Liberty to me is that the Liberty is not like this super dominating team. The Liberty plays organized ball. Remember, we were talking about that a couple months ago. They literally just play organized basketball, similar to like that South Carolina type feel, where Dawn and her team play fluid basketball. That's how the Liberty is to me. And you have these other teams like Connecticut and Vegas. They too streaky. Now, what I will say is who I think will be in the finals this year is the Liberty in Minnesota. Let me tell you something. Minnesota is dangerous in the playoffs. Fee been showing out. Okay. And homegirl ain't going down without no fight. I don't know what button they pressed and turned on during the Olympic break, but she been playing lights out. And she didn't have a break. I'm just saying, like, she hit the reset button at after the Olympics, and she been on fire. I thought for a second that the fever was too, but here we are.
Well, it'll be interesting. Chris, I want to turn it over to you to do our final segment of the day. Just tee it up.
Lord have mercy.
Well, let me take it down to the funeral voice.
Not the Maya Angelou.
Well, my people.
My people. Oh,
This-
God, that was spot on.
This video.
Shayna,
The question that matter is, are you blaming the deacon or are you going to blame the funeral, the deacon of the church or the funeral directors? Because I actually think they blaming the wrong person. I don't think it's the deacons because the deacons don't move it. But play the clip, Shayna, and we'll talk about what we talk.
Lord Jesus.
When
Thank
being
you.
fancy goes wrong.
Thank you, Reverend. I'll play the clip.
Thank you, Reverend Backus.
Well, I told him that okay, but I can.
It was the look on Tracy's face. Tracy was like, but I can tell you one thing. If you ever try to run somebody up out of the church, let that happen. You're going to run a whole lot of people up out of the church.
I just want to say that I heard a voice in there say, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. And I thought it was Daddy.
Let me tell you something.
Come back to my question. It can't. The capture said, "Oh, the deacons for replace the older." The deacons are not the ones that are responsible for that. It's the funeral director, the funeral home are the ones that is actually responsible for that incident happening. But the other issue is, how you gonna roll that back up in that cast and start that viewing all over again?
That wasn't the viewing, that was the funeral, and that was the funeral director. I mean, those were the funeral home workers that scrolled the casket in, unless we then switched it up. So they already knew that the way balance wasn't there. I don't know why they turned that curve so slick. Like that just all of this just couldn't happen. They could have literally just opened the top, like let the sunroof back after they got the man to the altar. Like, why did the sunroof have to
By
be
the roof
wide?
open. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
While
what
you
I was
drive.
gonna say.
Yeah.
Working in the funeral home. First of all, yes, I have worked at a funeral home.
Yes, you
But you don't come in with it open like that, first of all, because it's so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they think was gonna happen when they turned?
doing too much.
All of
That's-
that weight was gonna shift anyway. And then you have those little pulleys or things that's on there.
it's not working.
Oh, and look at granddad. He ain't even on, neither one of them is
And then he fell. Look how he fell.
Yeah.
Look how he fell.
He failed.
He done told every spray down off of that altar.
all the sprays gone. He didn't fail. The body didn't fail. Now they got to figure out how to help him. Because guess what? Nobody is helping the dead person because they did.
Nobody.
It's troubling to me that the audience decided to get up and go be onlookers rather than run. Because I would have hit the door. And nobody hit the door yet. All of them running up there. If you don't, I would have been so far up out that church.
And
Oh,
on top of that, they moving in slow motion.
Yes, Lord, they all
Look at 'em.
moving in slow motion.
everybody looking. And what's this, a backyard funeral? Because normally for our culture at a funeral, you don't get to wear that blue and white pants and all this and that. It's black. They just was all out of order at this.
It
funeral.
looks like it's at a funeral home because
Oh, okay.
it's not a lot of people there. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It looks like it might be somebody elderly because it's not a ton of people in the audience. And I think that's why they're moving so slow because they're old.
Lord have mercy.
I just
The
don't-
fastest person was the person on the piano up there.
correct, but it's just crazy to me how I'm trying to figure out how the momentum of the casket falling took him out too. I keep watching that and I'm
Because he
like,
was trying to hold it. You couldn't catch it.
oh,
Look
there
at
it
it.
is.
He's
Oh,
trying to
oh.
hold it.
Oh Lord, I think he
You
hit.
think I can catch it? You can't catch it, Papa.
I think he hit his head on the pulpit when he went.
You know, if
He
nothing
had
else,
one
One of
lamp.
those sprays.
them sprays that knocked him every which way but loose. As they went
Yeah.
tumbling down like the walls of Jericho when he went falling down.
They
Like, what in the
finna have
world?
two funerals. They gonna mess around and have two funerals.
Bye,
It was
too.
just it was just that voice that I heard that said, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. I swear.
It's like when doing too much goes too wrong. Like you doing too much. You're gonna get to the altar and open the sunroof up anyway. Why do you need to come down the aisle with the sunroof up? Like that's too much. Like when you talk about the weight distribution, just close it, then open it up so people
And
can come up
open it
there and do their
up.
last view. Like that didn't even make no sense.
Listen, or did the funeral home leave and the deacon say, yeah, we got this. We could do this. We just got to push the body up there.
Mm-mm.
'Cause I feel
Everybody
like
wrong.
I just feel
Everybody
like
wrong.
a funeral home would know. I feel because they do it enough. I feel like a funeral director would know that that's not the
Correct.
proper way to move the casket down the aisle. Honestly.
Right.
I
It
kind
is
of agree with your
not.
theory, Melissa. I think somebody else took hold of the service and was like, we got it. And then just
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I thought that too until I seen that baby. They must have been Houston or somewhere. They buried the baby, and she was in that she was on attached to the horse and carriage. She was in that clear. Did y'all see it? She was in that clear. It was a beautiful casket. They honored her. She was, I forget what the baby, who she was, I forget. And they were doing her last ride, and they took her in normally they have them on the horse and carriage and they have them inside the vault thing. Well, hers
Yeah.
was that clear one where you could still see inside, and her entire casket was clear. The heat, it was in Houston, I think. It was so hot she started melting in there, and so they had to pull over and put her in the back of a freaking hearse. When you talk about people and their common sense, I don't even doubt who could have been responsible for that, because how horrific is that? People have got to stop doing the most. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. You're traumatizing yourself anymore, like by doing these things that is not even smart. 100 and something degree weather. I get you want to have the last ride. Ride them in the goddamn hearse or something. Don't do that.
well, I mean, speaking of the last ride.
That person had there.
All right.
I'm sorry. On that note, thank you for watching the show. That was a horrible segue. Look at Tracy. Tracy's face is disgusted.
Girl, because I can just imagine the family members that was there. Like they'll never forget that. Girl, you remember we was at Susan May's funeral and she flipped over and Deacon Brown fell and his leg went on his head. Man, I'm just like the thought process of the family. Oh, my heart goes out to them. Lord, they ain't gonna never forget it. All right.
Well, it is a story that will live on in that family for generations
to come. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
On that note, thank you for watching the show. We will see you same time next week. But on that note, we're about to do what?
Put him to sleep.
Put him to sleep.
Good night.